When we left off, we were in Honolulu giving Varuna some TLC after a long passage.
Well, here I am, halfway up the mast, maybe 3/4 of the way up the mast of the Celestial, SV Makara. And I'm just checking things. I'm on my way to the top to check out the lights actually, but always good to inspect things as you go. This here is our running backstay, and that tang is a little loose, so we'll tighten that off so it's not rubbing on here. Yeah, I'll just check everything as we go up. That's the only thing I've noticed so far. Alright, well, I'm up here at the top of the mast on the Makara, and I was checking here our nav lights. So we've got an Aqua Signal Mate nav light here. It's a tricolour. I was worried that the tricolour light wasn't working, but it actually does work. We've got the green, the red, and the stern light on here, which is great. I don't think I've got an anchor light hooked up, so I've got to look up this particular model. It looks like I've got a 3-wire coming out of this, but the 3rd wire is not hooked up. So that 3rd white wire, I'm guessing, controls the anchor light, which we do not have right now. Time to head down now. It gets a bit tiring up here. At least up here there's a couple of foot stirrups on the very top, so it makes it a little bit easier, take a little bit of pressure off the harness for a while. I can just kind of put my feet in there and stand up straight. There's Varuna right over there. Hillary down there. I think she might have the camera out.
Back over there, behind me, Ty is up the mast on the Celestial. Yesterday we had Marshall, one of our followers, come in, and he's actually going to be helping us out for about a week. He's from the island of Hawaii. Came on over here to Oahu. He has a car, which is awesome. We can run around and do some errands, and he's going to help us out with some projects. So thank you very much, Marshall.
¿Cómo estás?
Hello, you're on camera.
Muy bien.
Right now we're trying to get, this is the strainer for raw water, and it's leaking. It looks like it's cracked around the top of the bowl. The bowl here on our strainer, and it may have even been cracked before, and it looks like it might have had an epoxy job on it. It's hard to tell where it is. So we're trying to get that off, and hopefully it's pretty standard. It looks like it's a shore flow type thing or something. So heat shrink tubing, large and thick spacing conduit. I think that makes sense.
Well, we're just going through and inventorying everything that's in the engine room and these drawers behind me. There's a lot of stuff on this board, this boat. We just got to figure out what it is, where it is, what's still usable, and what we're throwing out.
A hose. Oil pump.
Next on the to-do list of sorting and organizing were sails.
That sail behind me, about 180% for us. Huge. That's almost the full length of the boat.
Huge. I can't imagine having that by hand, pulling it on, like trying to get that on deck by hand with a Hank-on sail. Dang.
So the leach is 54 feet and 2.5 inches. Okay. The foot of the sail is 36 feet even.
Makara came with a very large sail inventory, and it was time to give them all a good inspection. In addition to the 180% Genoa, meaning that the sail covers 180% of the distance from the forestay to the mast, we also have 140% Genoa, 2 working jibs, which are just under 100%, a storm head sail, and a staysail.
That's the head right there.
Yeah. Oh, and I forgot, there's an asymmetrical spinnaker as well. It was stored in a homemade sock, which was torn up and broken with a few sharp bits sticking out. We pulled it out on the dock to inspect the sail, which luckily appeared to be in good shape. Since we had the sock from Varuna's blown-out spinnaker, we decided to swap them out and get rid of the old torn-up one, even though Varuna's was a little on the short side.
That's close. Quite a bit.
Quite a bit.
Friday night. We got questioned by why we were not in the Friday night races.
We're gonna go out for a little Friday night sail, and there's a fireworks show every Friday night off Waikiki Beach. So we'll go out, have some dinner on board, take in the fireworks show. It's supposed to be pretty breezy here, like 20 knots, so it'll be a good test for our new reefing lines we put in the other day. And yeah, should be a good night. Sun just went down. Get sailing here.
Okay.
This is Marshall again. Hello.
Aloha.
And look at this. Who's that?
Hey,
Who are you?
hi, Dad.
Hi, Dad.
Yeah, I've come along for the adventure, so I'm told.
As you might be able to see from the dark clouds, we've had some rain showers today.
Today it's somebody else's turn to experience the death of the locker. So, Dad's in there. He is just getting taken off the panels, the sound paneling around the engine. We're going to do fluid changes. Going to do new oil filter, do the coolant, yeah, and we'll probably do the fuel filters while we're at it.
This afternoon's project, got a little sewing project to do. I am modifying some lee cloths and adding a second lee cloth on the Celestial. I'm over at Varuna right now just because there's some space to set up the sewing machine down below. Basically on the starboard side settee, the lee cloths were really long, like the length of the entire bunk. So there wasn't really an easy way to get in or out of them. So I'm shortening the ends a little bit so you have some space to crawl in either end. And then I have some spare material I found sitting around that's just perfect. On the port side, there is no lee cloth. We need to add one. Then just need to add some grommets in so we can tie it up and have it nice and solid. Should be a pretty easy project. Behind me, down on the dock there, those are our 3 finished, modified lee cloths. They're cleaned up, shortened up so you can actually get in at either end. And now I just gotta go back over to the Celestial and screw them down. And we need to get some line to tie them up with. But other than that, we're good to go. Meanwhile, back on Makara, the guys were hard at work in the engine room.
Raw water pump. Trying to give it every reason to come out. That's basically it.
That's the impeller in there. Marshall had generously offered to do a little servicing on our engine, changing the impeller and doing a valve adjustment.
Yeah, I started working on, cars, when I was 15, 16. I helped my dad, and then I couldn't afford to have anybody else work on them, so guess what?
Also in need of some attention were our batteries, which had been neglected with insufficient charging.
You did that. Okay, got it.
These new batteries?
New starter and 2 new 6-volt golf carts for the twinless.
Having a car, a cart, and space at a dock for these types of projects was a huge help. As much time as we spent running errands nearly every day in traffic, it certainly was much more efficient than trying to do it on anchor or on foot.
Shouldn't know that. We've been really slacking on getting video to show you guys.
We've been so busy trying to get stuff done, we haven't had time to think about videoing.
Been forgetting the camera, plus because we've got people here helping us as well. So we feel like we don't want to waste their time by setting up the camera, which takes, it adds probably kind of doubles your time getting ready for that stuff.
It does.
And we don't want to waste other people's time. We're going to carry epoxy over to the other boat. It's one of the things we don't have on the other boat. And basically it's a constant trip between the 2 boats. It's like a 5-minute walk-ish between the 2, not bad. Got the new wind vane rudder.
Control rudder,
yep.
Yeah.
It still needs a bit more. This is just a rough penetrating epoxy and some thickened epoxy on it. It needs a sand back, and then we'll fill it some more and we'll paint it to protect the UV on the epoxy. What else have we got? We just got a few jerry cans of diesel.
And try and get the engine up and running on the Celestial.
Marshall did the valve adjustment.
And we just got a new impeller. We got the cracked sea strainer bowl came in today, so we can get that on. We're going to do a fluids change on it, and then yeah,
be good to go on that baby. We've got a lot of other little things we're working on. We've got to get our AIS hooked up. What are the other projects? Oh, deck fills. We're putting all new deck fills on for the diesel at least. Water we have not decided on yet. We haven't really looked at it yet. That's kind of down the low end. That's a few of the things. Anything else?
What else? We ordered some jib hanks today, and also a piece of foam for a new mattress on the pilot berth because it doesn't really have a proper cushion.
Surprisingly, jib hanks are extremely hard to find these days.
Yeah.
Nobody seems to stock more than 2 or 3 of them. Neither West Marine, neither Fishery Supply, Defender doesn't have the ones we want. These are the brass jib hanks. We ended up having to order them from Sailrite, one of the few places we found that had them. That's it.
Thanks so much for watching, and please don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. Until next time, adios.
Hillary made good sandwiches. All 4 of these are for me. I hope so. I'm hungry. One little sandwich.